On February 18, 1954, a headline appeared in the Melbourne Sun, opening tonight at 6:30, Australia's first drive-in theatre. The Skyline in Burwood became the first of more than 330 drive-ins to be built across Australia and changed the way many Australians saw movies forever. Approximately 20 minutes down the M1 highway, just north of Australia's tourist playground, the Gold Coast, and a short distance from South Brisbane, in the middle of one of Queensland's fastest growing areas, the semi-industrial region of Yatala, lies one of Australia's few remaining icons, the drive-in theatre. Peter is part owner, along with his brother Stephen, of the Yatala Drive-in, making them third-generation owners and managers. It was called the Beanley Drive-in and has been in Peter's family since it opened on Sunday 27th of October 1974, and it is Australia's most modern drive-in. What does the drive-in theatre offer moviegoers that the modern theatres cannot compete with?
The drive-in theatre has got a lot of advantages, I believe, over the traditional cinema, because it's more comfortable. You can come in your pyjamas if you like. You can bring your own food and drinks. You can set up. It's more of a relaxed atmosphere, and a lot of people bring their deck chairs and blankets and rugs and pillows, and some even bring panel vans and utilities and sit in the back, and it's very friendly. You see a lot of people talking to each other. They park next to each other and they have a good chat before the movie starts. It's more relaxed, I think.
Peter explains industry changes at the drive-in, making it more appealing to the public.
And here we have a traditional window speaker that was installed in the drive-in in 1974. Half the theatre is still have these operational, and the other half of the theatre you get to tune into your radio, which is 999 FM on field number 1, and on field number 2 is 105 FM. And a lot of people like that because they get the good stereo surround in their car. And the FM radio came into existence in the mid-90s, which was good for the theatre because it sort of competed with the multiplexes a little bit with sound quality.
The advent of in-car FM radio is one of the reasons for growing popularity, contributing to the resurgence of the drive-in.
I've been coming to the drive-ins for 40 years now. The main change two main changes I've seen have been twin screens drive-in theatres now, and also to the Cine Sound, where you can get the sound over your car radio instead of having to attach a speaker to your car. The two main changes that I've noticed in those 40 years.
The Beanley Drive-in was originally one screen when it was first built, and we have upgraded that screen. We've put a corrugated iron face on it, which is better for wet weather conditions. And in 2003 we built a second screen up there to give customers more choice with movies.
The older generation, or the baby boomers, not wanting to lose the experience of the drive-in theatre and the nostalgic memories it has to offer in today's modern society.
I've been coming to drive-ins for probably 25 years, I suppose, and pretty much the same as what they've always been. Just cars and movies, there's not much more to it than that. Compared to 25 years ago, there's probably more people coming to especially this drive-in, I suppose, because it's the only one left, which is a bit of a shame.
If you haven't been to the drive-in theatre before, you'll probably experience something that you've never really experienced before in regards to seeing a movie, because it's sort of a step back in time, and it gives you a feeling like when you see the movie Grease with John Travolta, how it was in the old days, and you see the rock and roll diner. We've got statues of Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, Cadillac couches. It's a real 50s sort of feel, and we serve 50s food as well, and it's just a different experience. And we get a lot of comments from first timers how how they've never been before and how they love it and they want to come back. It's just a great way of seeing 2 new movies under the stars.
They have organised a biannual event of nostalgia. Twice a year, the Dependable Rockers are in town for a night of rock and roll and to show off their passion for everything 2 wheels and 4.
My first time experience of the drive-in was basically about 30 years ago when I was courting my wife down in Cowra. We went to Young, that was the closest picture theatre at the time, and it was a great time. We didn't go to see the movie, of course, but I never had a P-van, which was the thing of those days. But going to the picture theatre here is just the excitement of looking at the old cars, and the music and the interaction with all the people that come along, because they're really here to enjoy the evening and the atmosphere.
Who knows? But for now, the drive-in has not only survived due to the baby boomers, but a whole new generation, Generation X and Generation Y, are discovering the drive-in and a trip back in time, and to share the memories and experiences with the older generation.
Well, last time I went to a drive-in was in Townsville when the Harvey's Range was open. That's since been bulldozed and turned into a housing estate. About 10 years ago is probably the last I could remember. Probably when I was a kid, I'd imagine. I haven't been to the one here at Yatala before, so tonight's the first night. Last time I tried to come, it was so packed the traffic was out to the motorway, so we decided to give it a miss that night. So it's obviously very popular.
This car I've owned now for over 44 years. It's been used, it's been an expo and the Bodger Widger reunion. We went back to Wynnum after 30 years, and of course it's just gone through the new Clem Jones tunnel. We're one of the first cars through there. But it's got over 1 million kilometres on it now, this car, and still going strong. It's a 1951 Ford Custom. Originally they're made in Canada and they come down to a knockdown version to Australia, and they're assembled in Australia. And they've got the old side valve V8 engine. This one's modified a bit now. It's got a 5-speed gearbox in it and a higher ratio diff, which makes it an absolute fabulous cruiser on the road. So, going to the drive-in, I'd say since 1956, which would have been nearly the start of the drive-ins. My wife, I married her in '64, and I took her out when she was 16-year-old, and she lived at Cooper's Plains. We used to go to the Cooper's Plains drive-in to the old Skyline. And of course today, it's an estate now, it's all just covered in houses, and this would be one of the last ones that I know of around here locally now that we still frequent with. Because Dependable Rockers, they have it twice a year here, and we come to that event every time, you know. Got to come, it's tradition, we've got to come along. I know the Purple People Eater was one of the ones we went to see back probably, 1957, something like that, 58. But I think we all go to the movies just as it's a matter of congregating there more so than what the movies are on. And when you take a girlfriend, I guess you don't worry about the movie. And I think television sort of ruined it all, you know. We can sit at home now and watch the same movies in the comfort of our house and drink cold drinks and sit back in the lounge chair and relax instead of going out like we are now in the rain watching the movies.
My father used to run the theatre in the 70s and the 80s, and it has changed a little bit because now we have the latest sound, and also the customers have changed because we get a lot of younger people coming now that haven't been to the theatre before, and they're from their teens up until the 30s. That would be 80% of our market. The projection equipment is still the same because it works well and it's original, and film has always been around, it hasn't really changed. So yeah, everything's quite stable at the drive-in.
There will come a time where it may be more financially viable to close and sell the land like many others, subsidise the losses from the global financial crisis and move on. And then again, it may be a choice of staying open and becoming an even greater icon in the years to follow.
I think this theatre will be here for a long time to come. As my father owned it, I'd like to carry it on for the next 10, 20 years at least, as long as there's still customers coming and it's still doing okay and people enjoy the theatre. I'd like to keep it going.